Good morning, students. We will continue with the topic that is structures involved in vegetative propagation. Previous class I had explained to you what is vegetative parts. Apart from flowers, the other parts of the plant, that is stem, roots, leaves, these are all known as the vegetative parts. Now they help in multiplication of the plants. And last class I had explained to you about rhizome. I had explained to you about what is corm. So this class I will explain to you regarding the bulbs. A bulb is an underground vertical shoot. Example for this is onion. Now it is a vertical shoot. It's a modified vertical shoot and it develops into a new plant when root emerges from the underside of the base. So we see that in an onion what happens? The roots are arising from the underside. Okay, and this is a modified stem. And leaves are arising from here. We see the leaves slowly arise. And apart from onion, garlic, lily, water, hyacinth reproduce by forming bulbs. Runners or stolons. These are horizontal stems that spread outward from the main plant and run along the surface of the ground. If you look over here, example is strawberry. This is a horizontal stem. It is spreading outward. That means it comes above the ground. Okay, and runs across the surface of the ground. The runners send out roots where they touch the soil and sprout buds on top. So as soon as these runners or the horizontal stem touch the ground, they develop roots and buds are developed right on top. Now these buds develop into plantlet and separate from the parent plant to form independent plants. So these buds slowly develop into a small plant known as plantlet, and these break from the parent plant to form independent plants. Example is strawberries. Next one is leaves. In some plants, buds develop in the margins of the leaves. So, in few plants what happens? From the margins, tiny leaves are formed. Tiny buds are formed along the margins of the leaf. Now, these buds start forming new plants while still attached to the mother plant. So, over here what happens? These buds, tiny plants are formed. Okay, and slowly they detach from the mother plant and then they fall on the moist soil, and these develop into a small plantlets which grow into independent plants. So after detaching, they grow into plantlets and they grow independently from the parent plant. Example is bryophyllum and begonia. They reproduce from buds on leaves. Next, artificial vegetative propagation. Now, what is this artificial vegetative propagation? When plants are intentionally propagated by vegetative means for economic and other benefits, it is called artificial propagation. It means we are multiplying the plants for economic reasons. Okay, that is nothing but artificial propagation. Propagation means multiplying. There are various methods employed for artificial propagation. First one is cutting. If you remember, to multiply rose plants, if you would have noticed, they usually take a stem cutting and they place it in the soil. So portion of the plant containing leaf bud is cut from the parent plant. So you are taking a plant. Okay, suppose this is a rose plant. You are cutting it where that cut portion should have a leaf bud in it. Okay, the cut portion should have a leaf bud in it. Then slowly it is planted into the soil. Okay, that cutting is taken in a pot and soil is, you are taking the soil and covering it. It is then induced to form roots and shoot by providing favorable environment like moist soil with sufficient nutrients. Then you are giving all the favorable conditions required for the germination. It is beneficial method as many new plants can be obtained from a single plant in lesser time. So this method of propagation is much faster and easier. So many plant cuttings can be obtained from a single parent plant, and then we can, at a stretch we can obtain several plants. A number of plants including banana, pineapple, rose, etc. can be propagated using cuttings. So banana, pineapple, rose, these can be propagated by using cutting. Grafting. Parts of one plant are fused with another plant. Now here we are taking one plant, any plant is selected for its root. Okay, might be a mango plant is selected for its root. It is known as stalk. Another plant, say apple, it is selected for its shoot and it's known as scion. Now what happens? Then we are taking root of one plant, shoot of another plant, and then by using a grafting glue we are attaching these two, okay, and tying it tightly. So what happens? Water and minerals are being absorbed from the root and being transmitted to the stem, and finally fruits develop. See, grafting helps in producing delicious varieties of mangoes and apples. So we are combining characteristic of two different plants, and the quality of fruits that is obtained is much better. Layering. It involves plants with long flexible branches where a branch or a stem still attached to the parent plant. It is placed in contact with the moist soil, encouraging it to send out roots. Once a root emerges, new plantlets are formed, and these can be separated from parent plant and grown as individual plant. Now what is this layering? Now this is a main parent plant. The lowermost branch, which is flexible, is taken, okay, and you're bending it so that it comes in contact with the soil. Okay, here what happens? Slowly roots start emerging. Roots will start emerging and new plantlets are formed. You are covering it with soil. First, what you're doing is the lowermost flexible branch, okay, you are bending it down so that it touches the soil, and then you put sufficient amount of soil here. After bending, then roots will start developing, the shoots will start developing, okay, then it can be separated from the parent plant and grown as a new individual plant. Example, grapes, raspberry and jasmine. Next, moving on to tissue culture. Plant tissues have the ability to generate whole new plants. Okay, a simple tissue has a capacity or the ability to develop whole new plant. Living and actively multiplying tissue is obtained from the plant and is kept in a medium containing appropriate amount of nutrient. Here plant tissue is taken, okay, small plant tissue is taken, and then we provide sufficient nutrient, okay, sufficient nutrient to that particular tissue. This is known as Petri dish, okay, in which a small plant tissue is taken and sufficient nutrient is being provided. Then it is treated with root and shoot inducing chemicals in the laboratory. Then slowly to that tissue we are adding certain chemicals which induces root and shoot formation. Once it develops into a plantlet, then it gets then it is transplanted into soil. So slowly what happens, it develops into a small tiny plant. Then it is transplanted into soil. Then we are placing that plantlet in the soil, and finally it grows into a plant. Orchids, bananas and chrysanthemums can be obtained by this particular method. Now, what are the advantages of vegetative propagation? One is replication. Replication means multiplication. Replication of desirable characteristics. We can choose a parent plant with desirable features like the quality of its fruit or flowers and multiply in large numbers. See, here parent plant which has got the desirable characteristic of a choice, might be it is good in fruit production or flower production, we can multiply it by means of vegetative propagation. Then early fruit bearing. Fruit trees grown by cutting or by grafting start to bear fruits much faster within only a few growing seasons. If you need to take a seed, plant it, then slowly it will germinate, it will form plantlet, then slowly it will form a tree. So it is a very long procedure, but whereas grafting and cutting is a much faster technique. Now fruit growing trees grown from seeds take many years to bear fruits. Lower maintenance. Vegetative propagation reduces the efforts in growing plants as it simply bypasses the seed sowing stage. Also, plants propagate more easily by vegetative means than by seeds. Now, what happens is the plants that are grown by vegetative propagation, it requires much lower or lesser maintenance when compared to the plants that are obtained through seeds. Whereas the seeds, the seed as it is germinating, lot of care has to be given to it. Sexual reproduction in plants. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of the male reproductive cell with the female reproductive cell, followed by the further growth and development of the cell to form a new individual. Till now, I was talking to you about asexual reproduction. Next, we are going to study about sexual reproduction in plants. Just to give you the definition, it is nothing but the fusion of a male cell, reproductive cell, and a female reproductive cell. And followed by, after that what happens, there is further development that is taking place to form a new individual. That is nothing but sexual reproduction.